Hello, beautiful souls out there. I hope you're able to get out in nature like Starlight is. So yeah, Starlight is out here. This is at one of my favorite spots out here. It's close by. It's got a stream of water. Nice little trail. And actually a couple trails, but normally Starlight's like whoop, right to the stream of water. So anyway, thank you to all of you. And I hope you're getting out in nature like Starlight. And I hope you're being kind to yourself and others, so don't forget that. And thank you for all of you new subscribers out on my YouTube channel. Woohoo! I've been meeting people a lot here and there, so it's great to see new people coming out, and who knows, could be more coming on the way, because I met some people today. And thank you. Also, can't forget the ones that have been holding the fort down. They've been here. Yeah, you, and especially you. You've been here from the beginning, loving and supporting Starlight. So I appreciate you. And also, thank you, all of you who watch my videos, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also share my videos, leave a comment. And if you want to reach out to Starlight, you can through my Instagram, and that is at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman Starlight. So anyway, before I get started, is the other thing is, if you want to send any love donations to Starlight, because Starlight's birthday is coming up, so Starlight would really gladly receive any love donations from anyone who when God puts something on your heart, that is when to give. So anyway, besides that, you can do that through my Cash App, and I will have the information here. Ping! There it is. And so tonight is things are speeding up. Things are speeding up. I am so blown away. A lot of people, how many of you, now Starlight cooks outside, and I don't have a 4-burner stove because I'm outside. I have a 1-burner stove though. How many of you guys are just so used to putting things on the back burner? I'll put that on the back burner. Well, when we do cook at home, there's many times we need to, the way it goes, Starlight's not a professional cook, but I love to cook. And every meal is different depending on how many things you're making, and for what kind of family, what kind of dishes you're creating. But in a house, because when you put things on the back burner, that means that's got to kind of go slow. The things that you really want to focus on are the things right up in the front, on the 2 front burners, because they need a lot of attention. And sometimes you got to move those ones from the front to the back, because you got to kind of switch things around depending on how many dishes you're creating. Maybe you don't even cook. But either way, a lot of people have habits like cooking by putting things on the back burner, thinking, hey, you know what, it's going to take time for that to heat up, and it's a slow, a lot of times it will be slow cooking on the back. In life, and a lot of people, they procrastinate a lot, put things off and thinking, I got, getting distracted in life. And so, but I'll tell you what, things are speeding up right now, and a lot of people, they're putting things on the back burner in their reality, in their life. What are they putting in the back burner, Starlight? Themselves. What? Yeah, they're putting themselves on the back burner. They're too busy chasing the things of this world that doesn't, I tell you what you have, you're not taking it with you. But a lot of people, what they're doing is they're chasing things, they're chasing people, and they're getting distracted out in the world. They're getting caught up with the way of the world. And, like the wide way is the way to destruction. So it's best to take the narrow path, and that is what you really want to do is, but you know what, a lot of people, they're not really happy with who they are. They've been believing everything that they've been told, by their family, the government, society, the churches, the school system, all these other people listening to everybody else and thinking that this is how it's got to work. I got to be like everyone else. I got to chase that, that job, whether, I'm going to be happy or not, whether I have a life after that or not, chasing those kind of relationships, hey, they have a house, Starlight, they got lots of stuff, they own all this land, I want to go with those kind of people, and that's, getting out into the partying world, going out, and they're putting themselves on the back burner and thinking that I got, I'm not worried, Starlight, shit, man, I know I hear stuff on the news, people tell me stuff, I hear rumors and, but people are so distracted, it's like it falls on deaf ears, because in the Bible it does say that, even a pastor could preach or whatever, but it falls on deaf ears. There's people that have eyes, but they're blind, they cannot see. So this is ears, that they have ears, but they cannot hear. There's a lot of people out in the world like that. They have eyes, but they cannot see. Now, my sister and my dad has eyes, and they absolutely cannot see. There's people that have ears, they can hear, but they're not listening. So eyes and ears, the ears that falls on deaf ears, so there's a lot of blind people and a lot of deaf people out, I have been there, have you ever been into a church and it's like, it's not the touch of God when the person is up front, you're like, it falls on deaf ears, it just goes, you're hearing it, but it's like it goes in one ear and out the other, because it really, they didn't have the power of God in them to even give you a message. That's really lame. That does happen. I've been in churches, I've gone to churches, I'm like, well, this is just not like the church I came from. Man, you definitely were paying attention, listening to what they were saying. But a lot of people, they think they got a lot of time. So they're putting things on the back burner. They're putting things off. They're distracted. They're, just following the way of the world, trying to keep up with the Joneses and all this stuff. But I'll tell you what, things are speeding up. Things are, people think that it's not going to happen in my lifetime here. Sterling, I don't even have to worry about that. I'm just going to, I gotta do this right now. They're forgetting about their family. They're forgetting that, I know people that, they were supposed to get married a couple of years ago. They didn't. There's, this is like the third or fourth relationship that they've been in, promising all these women that they were going to, long-term relationships. These are not short-term relationships. Longer relationships than I've been into, still hasn't married any of, now in another, this has been how many years, more than 10 years of being with this person, and still didn't get married. Because now they got all these excuses why they can't. Hey, I'm too busy working. I got to get money. They don't even have time for the person that they were going to marry. So it's really sad. Things are speeding up. And what I'm talking about is that I just watched a video a couple of days ago about the grocery stores, that they're testing this all out. And I'll tell you what, you better wake up right now. You better, stop putting things on the back burner, and putting things off and getting distracted and procrastinating on, stop putting yourself on the back burner, because I'll tell you what, shit is going to hit the fan. And so they actually have stores that are doing this, and it's crazy what's going on out there in the grocery stores, is that I did not want nothing to do with Google. They want you to, do a fingerprint to get into your device. They want you to, do face recognition on your phone. and all this stuff. Of course, a lot of us know that they already have cameras out there, like out in public, and especially in some really important areas, that those cameras already know who you are. It's like, you know, you could be walking by, it could even maybe get the side of your face, and it knows who you are. It's reading your face, it's reading all that stuff, and it already knows who you are, what your name is, where you live, and all that stuff, just by, you know, looking at your face. And so a lot of people, I made a video on that too long ago. Did you read the fine print? You know, and then we do a lot of, you know, selfies. Starlight is, you know, I used to do a lot of selfies before I got on YouTube. Now my selfies are mainly, you know, because I'm making YouTube videos for thumbnails, you know. So my ass is all over on the computer, you know, being a YouTube creator, and making videos and talking and all this stuff. So my information is definitely out there, you know, but I'm out here because, you know, God has sent me out here to do what I'm doing, to use my stories to help other people. And but there are stores out there right now where they already have AI, that is scanning all the food in the aisles and knows where everything is located in the store. They have these special grocery carts that when you go into the store, this is how screwed up. They're already doing this right now. I don't know where in the world this is going on, but they're doing this right now, is that they have these special grocery carts, and it's got a screen, so it will actually capture your face and recognize you. And guess what? There's people that are in such a rush, you know, and that's why I tell you to slow down, because you don't want to get like the world. Hang on, so people think they have all the time in the world. You know, there's a lot of people that are not really serious about working on themselves. They're just more serious about making more money, getting more stuff, getting more. Guess what? You're not taking any of that shit with you. You're wasting your time getting all that stuff because you're not taking it with you. Trying to, you know, be like the Joneses. You're not taking any of that shit with you. None of it's coming. None of it's going, you know, when you're out of here. However you go, whenever your time is. But they have this stuff right now with a special shopping cart that's going to scan your face, and you know, like taking selfies. That's where I was going until this light got in my eyes, is that with all the selfies and all the things that we do, even like I wouldn't even doubt that they have jobs out there that you have to like kind of maybe scan your face, you know, for job applications or something like that. There might be things, you know, that you're not even aware of. You know, did you read the fine print? Like I made a video not too long ago. You know, there could be things going on with you, with your phone or your computer, and you're not even aware of it because I didn't read the fine print. So I'm not saying I did, but I don't put a lot of apps on my phone. I only really put the apps on my phone that I absolutely freaking need. I don't have a lot of space on my phone for storage. I don't want all that stuff on my phone. I just want what I need. That's it. I only need, you know, editing software, a camera for my phone, you know. Canva is awesome. Having YouTube, you know, things that I actually use, you know, not these extras out there, you know. So, but they have these stores out there where, you know, because we, you know, we put ourselves out there. You know, I know, like, I knew this a long time ago, and I didn't know, though, at the time, is I couldn't figure out how come my phone knew where the fuck I was. You know, I could be out hiking somewhere, and I didn't realize that things were set on my phone where it could freaking locate my ass and let people know where I was located. Well, guess what? I didn't want people to know where I was located. And so, you know, the technology out there is really doing more than what you think. And this video is not to scare you, but to, you know, help you to be more aware, and that, you know, things are speeding up right now. You don't have a lot of time. Stop putting yourself on the back burner, because they have these shopping carts. It's that they're testing this out in the store right now, certain stores out there, is it scans your face, and guess what? That that actually gets all your information. And so when you go through the store to shop, when you put things in the cart, it is already adding up how much that item, what it is, it knows what the product is that you're putting in the cart, and before it was and Starlight, I'll tell you, you would have thought I was nuts, barcodes on stuff, so Starlight learned this a long time ago. I don't like barcodes on my stuff, especially if I'm using a debit card. Like this chair that I did get, it actually was a gift from the universe. I ripped the freaking tags off, I didn't want this freaking chair tracking my ass everywhere I go. And nowadays they're actually making things harder as far as barcodes go, because like my underwear or my underwear, you probably got a barcode on my underwear. What am I gonna do, cut my underwear apart, so that they don't track where those underwear going, so it is really horrible, the things that a lot of people are not aware of. But I was being tracked before. I do want to recreate that video of when Starlight was being tracked, because I did use my debit card, and it was my bank card, and I bought a case of water. Well, guess what? I was being tracked with my case of water because all the barcodes led to my bank account and who I am as a human being. Believe it or not, you can believe whatever you want to believe, because I've been followed through this for the last 3 years. Actually, my whole life I've been studied, but the last 3 years, man, I've been followed. I've had people come up to me with tech glasses, talking to me, having conversations, telling me that they are tech glasses. So, I've had my window shot at driving in Florida. Somebody shot at my window. So there are forces out there. And there's stories about people disappearing in the world because they know stuff, and they try to get rid of them because they don't want to hear them. They don't want their information out online. So I'm not here to scare you, but I'm just telling you is that we leave traces of us all over the place, things that we buy, and now they got, scan me, that's what this part is about, is like, like scanning your hand. Now, now they got a device out there to scan your hand. So then that way, for shopping, all you got to do is, you don't need they have the smart card. I heard that long time ago about the smart card. But this crazy ass thing that's going on right now that they're testing out is a shopping cart that, when you put something in the cart, it knows exactly, what it is, how much it costs. So it will come on the screen. You'll see it on your screen where you can say, oh, Starlight just bought, what did Starlight bought? What would Starlight buy in a store? Bread. Starlight likes her wheat bread. Yeah, so Starlight has got her, because I got my peanut butter. I just bought bread yesterday. So yeah, it's got wheat, it knows exactly what size, loaf of bread that is. And then Starlight's going to walk around. And do you ever change your mind shopping? Yeah, I do. I'll put something in my cart, and then I think of really what I have in my cart. What do I really need? It's not about what I want. It's what do I need mostly. And then there's a few times it's like, Starlight wants some popcorn. Did I need the popcorn? No, I didn't need it, but I want it. So Starlight put popcorn in her cart, and was going down through the aisles, and then I'm thinking, maybe I should put the popcorn back and go get something healthy instead. The popcorn is actually really good for you, but so when you take that popcorn out of your cart, it actually will take it off the screen, and that way then it will actually know whatever you do with anything in there. If you decide that you don't want something and you put it back on the shelf, like, or do what other people do, which is naughty, is I am really good. I've been really good at this because I've seen other people do this in the store, is that they bought stuff, they put it in the cart, and as they're going to the cashier on the way to the cashier, they just kind of drop food off on. We all see that, right? We all see that, where people just kind of drop their food off somewhere in any aisle, you know. Oh yeah, we'll just drop this steak right here in this aisle, and we'll just, really, you're dropping your steak off on aisle what, 3? That's the, you know, like, why are you dropping your steak off? Shouldn't you put it back where the steak was? What's going to happen with that steak? But people do that. So this is where, you know, all you got to do, you know, scan your, you know, because this is all working out towards the mark of the beast, is what this is all about. And, you know, people think they have all the time in the world. You know, they think all this stuff isn't going to happen. They're already demonstrating this right now. So the whole store has been set up, you know, with the AI. It knows where everything is. Everything is. So if you don't put something back where it belongs, they know you. Starlight would never do that. I have never done that. I never have done that. God, I have never done that. I've never taken this stuff out of my... I have no recall of ever doing that in my life, because I'm not lazy. I'll go back and I will put it back where I found that. I've even picked up stuff off the floor that fell on off the shelves and put it back, as long as there's room to stick it there. So things are speeding up quick, but a lot of people, you know what? They put themselves on the back burner. They're like, you know, I'm not worried about me. I'm just, you know, chasing that dollar bill, chasing these people, these kind of people, thinking that those are the kind of people that they need in their life as a relationship goes, chasing the wrong kind of people, hanging out with the wrong kind of crowd, going at the wrong kind of places, you know, like bar scenes, and, you know, thinking every day's a party, go to work Monday through Friday, you know, like, if you got energy after your day of work, you know, is to hang out somewhere. You know, I just had somebody ask me, hey, you want to, man, we got to get together and hang out. No, Sterling doesn't want to hang out with you. You know, God is using me. I will help, you know, if I'm going to hang out with you, you're going to hear something you might not want to hear. Can you handle that? It's not going to be like the old Starlight, no. Because, you know, my time is very precious. I wake up as early as I can, and, you know, I've been really super tired, and I didn't realize this. The library has been draining my energy. So I'm just letting you know, is that there's shit going on out there, you know, I forget the name of it, but there's this thing, and it's a name for, you know, scan it and get in your hand, you know, because now, you know, they just can scan your hand. And, you know, I don't know how they got that information, you know, how to scan your hand. You know, I don't know if you have to do anything to get this all set up at the store. Hey, do you want to be a part of that? Do you want to be a part of that? You know, you don't even have to, you know, pull out your debit card or your bank card or any card. And there's a lot of people, they do things on their phone. That's why I tell you what, that's why you need to slow the blink down, because there's so many people out there, they're in such a rush. You know, like even with driving, such in a rush. Hurry, 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 hurry. You know, getting upset with Starlight all the time. Starlight's going the speed limit. You know, hey, sorry, I'm not letting you, you know, you're not doing this to me. No, that used to bother the blink out of me when I was younger, but no. I'm going the speed limit. I don't need to get pulled over by no police officers out here, you know. For what? For somebody else. And then I'm gonna, you know, like, what am I gonna say to the police officer or anything? Hey, they were on my ass, yeah? You've been driving long enough to, you know, Starlight, you've been driving long enough to ignore that crap. So, I'm telling you, things are speeding up. Before you know it, they're gonna want to chip your ass, you know, not your ass. Imagine that, you're gonna, you know, chip your, you know, like, they're gonna want to chip your ass. That's a funny joke from Starlight, but no, they're gonna want to chip your ass, you know, by getting that little chip in there, because that's what this is all working up to. It's been like, I've learned about the chip, the mark of the beast, a long time ago, you know. So stop putting yourself on the back burner. You know, you better take care of shit now, because the more you work right now, you're going to have a smoother transition later on. But if you're not doing that work right now and get serious about your life and stop chasing the dollar bill, thinking that you're going to get all this stuff, you're not taking that shit with you. You know, there's going to be people, guess what? You better learn how to camp. You better learn how to live off the land. You better enjoy right now to go out for a hike. Learn how to go to, you better enjoy getting along with the animals out in nature. Because the people that go along with this scan in your hand crap, to go to the store and have your face scanned, that's a part of the mark of the beast. That's the start of all this stuff. So things are speeding up more than you think. And so you don't have all time to, you better stop putting yourself on the back burner and put yourself first, and really get serious, because shit is coming. I love you so much. This is Starlight, and namaste. This is Starlight, love, light, and peace.